Hello, my name is Pablo Vaquero, and today I'm going to talk about the project in Colonizing Mars. So today I'm going to talk about three different type of shops: flow shop, job shop, project shop, and finally I will try to see how all these are connected in order to promote lean manufacturing using AI. So firstly, talking about the flow shop, my flow shop is about the creation of fuel using water electrolysis. So the main steps of the process will be the extraction of ice, then converting the ice into water, purifying the water, and finally performing electrolysis to separate it both into oxygen and hydrogen for fuel. The restriction would be to be in a location near huge ice formations. This wouldn't be really complicated as the temperature in Mars is known to be much lower than the Earth. Okay, so the first step would be extracting the ice. For that, I've designed a rover, which basically breaks the ice in the glacier and extracts it, and then it transports the ice towards the plant. It it has a camera which allows it to know the terrain, and it can be monitored. Then this ice is transported um, into a deposit which is being heated by a different number of furnaces. This is something that should be optimized with time. The objective is that the ice that enters is dissolved, and then it is transported through a series of tubes that you can see here into the next step. Um, these tubes will have an entry valve that has to be controlled by by means in order to control the mass flow rate. Okay, so then these tubes will conduct to a series of filters that are going to purify the water, and the water now purified is introduced into the cells of an electrolytic cell. The thing is that we can create a battery with regolith using silicon component, and we have been told that Mars has a lot of minerals in its surface, so we can also be able to get a cathode and an anode for that. Once the oxygen and hydrogen are obtained, they should be stored in containers under pressure and be ready to be used as fuel. I think this flow shop idea is really good since there are no organisms in the to create like fossil fuels to create fuel from there. So it would be a great fuel to start with. Then the job shop. In my job shop, I think it's a good idea to combine both additive manufacturing and laser cutting. Additive manufacturing, I think the best idea is to use just 3D printing. We can have fibers from different materials or minerals, regolith, then a set of computers, one of them to track the the tensile test that may have to be taken, and the other one to design the components using CAD designs with the help of artificial intelligence. I think that this ARM structure is quite clear. It just have uh, many different degrees of freedom to move. From here, the material is being added. So once talked about additive manufacturing, I think that it is also a good idea to use laser cutting. I didn't say it, but additive manufacturing machines and laser cutting machines should be powered using the field mentioned before. And I think it's a good idea because regolith is very abundant on Mars. So we can just take a piece of stone and cut it the way we want in order to make different components, detailed components. And yeah, here you can see the machine, the fuel will run through here, and the energy is the light is powered into the stone. Okay, now talking about tensile test, the machine would be a standard machine. The sample would be a standard sample, basically. Um, it would be controlled using also the computers I mentioned before. Um, Here we can see the graph of how different a brittle material compares to a ductile material. I mean, the ductile material may have different shapes, but this is a standard one. This is the yield point. Sorry, this one is the yield point. Brittle materials have a higher elastic modulus, but a lower deformation. The results should be analyzed using some kind of software such as MATLAB or Excel or Python. In order to measure stiffness, we can just relate the Young modulus, the cross-sectional area, and the deformation experienced. And in order to measure the toughness, we should measure or calculate the area below both curves by integrating the data obtained. Okay, for my project sub, I think it a good idea to start with colonizing the planet would be an excavator of minerals. This may rise due to the need of having material minerals for construction, because there may be a lack of minerals in the surface. Each of these parts, I mean, they are big, but not so big. They can be manufactured using the additive manufacturing and the laser cutting techniques mentioned before. Then they could be welded in other place, and they then are bring to this side and are built together. These parts would be mounting using cranes and different workers. Um, the machine would also be powered with a fuel created in the flow shop. I think this brake shop would be high rentable, as we would obtain a high amount of minerals and regolith. And as I will explain later, this also uh, increases the lean manufacturing process that we're taking into account. Okay, so now we're going to talk about lean manufacturing. Basically, the objective is to optimize and to reduce waste as much as possible. In my case, I tried to design a closed loop in order to be coherent, and it starts all with the need of having regolith, as it is the most abundant um, resource in Mars. It can be used for construction, etc. So in order to have big amounts of regolith, we need an excavator. That's why it was my project shop. Then from regolith, we may obtain ice directly, or we can extract also water uh, from regolith. So from regolith we can extract water. From this water we can extract fuel, and from this fuel can be used in order to power the excavator. This fuel also under regolith um, are capable in order to create those construction materials, those construction fibers for additive manufacturing and for laser cutting. Fuel obviously is used to power those machines, and with those machines we can create the components or the parts for our excavator. So everything is closed. Um, I think that is a quite effective flow of things. But of course it is optimizable. So by the time we get to Mars, I think there would be an artificial intelligence that may gather all this data and can optimize processes. some processes to be optimized, maybe for example the number of furnaces that I mentioned firstly to dissolve the ice in the flow shop. And also we should gather data about the tons of materials we're getting, of minerals, the liters of fuel that we're used, and the time of manufacturing of those, additive manufacturing and laser cutting. Um, I think this is quite effective, and the main objective would be basically to reduce the excesses and to increase the needs. So this is the end of my presentation, and that's it. Thank you very much.